For over 60 years now, Chalice has built a remarkable extended family. We are ever growing, ever changing, ever loving. As time moves forward and our community expands and ages, sadly, this means we also lose beloved fellowship members. Our hearts break with each of these losses from among our community. We take a moment now to honor the ancestor members of this congregation who have left this earth. On the screen now, you will see a list of significant members, children, and friends of this congregation who have passed throughout our 60-plus year history. Their memories and contributions to our fellowship remain etched in our hearts and in our community. In remembrance of these dear souls and all our Chalice beloveds, all the way back to one of our founding members, Neil Knoyer, we light the memorial candle.
As we take a moment to reflect on our family ancestors now, both blood and chosen family, I invite you to think about the relationships you have shared with them. So many people touch our lives. Their stories, their experiences, and influence mold who we become. Whether we are joined by blood or choice, our ancestors live in us. Of these relationships, these influences, these stories, which of them were particularly meaningful to you? Now, if you are online, you may hold up pictures of significant people people in your life whom you'd like to remember and share their names in the chat. Sam and I will read them out together. You might want to change your view to gallery so you can see the pictures of people's loved ones. For those here in person, we invite, shall we do this first?
Yes. Let's move into the chat.
I'm going to borrow you. That's not working.
That's
still.
Fine. From Sue Norton, my mother, Florence Norton. How about we move on to the next piece, and we'll allow our virtual friends an extra moment to fill in their names.
For those here in person, we invite you to call out the names of your beloved ancestors. And if you haven't already, please bring your photos up onto our altar. Please speak those names out loud now. Jeff Taylor, Marina and Grover Taylor,
Thank you. And we'll move into the chat.
I have it now.
Oh, good.
Ray and Lillian Smith and Mary Liddy, grandparents.
Sherry's mother, Margaret van der Zuyden.
Sylvia, Dale Sullivan, my son.
April's Uncle Ray, who recently passed.
Teresa Cummings, her paternal great-grandmother Anna and grandfather John.
N's brother, Ari.
Willie Lupka, Hank Lupka, my brother, Lou Lupka, my dad.
And I'll share my mother, Charlene, my girl, Joy, my Nana, Dorothy, and my dear friend, Betty.
And my grandparents, Rocco and Sarah Bay. Now let's take a moment in reverent silence while we all light a candle, either at home or here in the sanctuary, for our ancestors and beloved dead, offering gratitude for their lives and the relationships we enjoyed with them. I would like to invite up the children and their families first to light a candle for their ancestors, followed by the rest of us who are here in person. Those online, feel free to hold up the candle up to your camera so we can see the light lit for your beloveds. Children and families, please come forward now.
As you're coming forward, I'll also share Leanne added her mother, Peggy, who introduced her to this community, her paternal great-grandfather, Preston Carl Christensen, whose house I will travel to tomorrow.
Light it from here.
As our children and their families and their time lighting candles, we open the floor to anyone else who would like to come up and light a candle for their ancestors.
I'm gonna go grab more of the tapers. They look like they're burning down fast. Maybe not.
May their spirits rest in peace. Now, we will perform a small ritual of remembrance. In paganism, we find that these small acts help us to focus on the moment we are in, and we can later bring ourselves back to this moment. Can you join me to light the candles first, please? So many moving parts.
Confusing day.
With great gratitude for Claudia to step in on such short notice. So first we light the black candle. The wheel of the year turns once more, and we cycle into darkness. We then light the white candle. At the end of that darkness comes light, and when it arrives, we will celebrate once more. Now, as you came in, you received ribbons, or if ribbons was a bit too difficult, we have pipe cleaners. If you were not able to grab a set in the foyer, there's a basket up here at the altar for anyone who would like to come up and grab their piece, and our children all have theirs as well. There's a white piece, one black piece, and one red piece. For our friends online, you'll have your own ribbons, yarns, twine, in whatever color you have on hand. White is for life, black is for death, and red is for rebirth. We bind these strands together, remembering those we have lost. We will take these few moments to braid or knot or twist, whatever you're comfortable with, these three ribbons together. As you do so, focus on the memories of those that you have lost. And while everyone is braiding or knotting their love and gratitude into this piece, you may chant along with the words that are on the screen. Thank you. Do we have the words? Yes. Here they are. As the corn will come from the grain, all that dies will rise again. As the seeds grow from the earth, we celebrate life, death, and rebirth. As the corn will come from grain, all that dies will rise again. As the seeds grow from the earth, we celebrate life, death, and rebirth. As the corn will come from the grain, all that dies will rise again. As the seeds grow from the earth, we celebrate life, death, and rebirth. As the corn will come from the grain, all that dies will rise again. As the seeds grow from the earth, we celebrate life, death, and rebirth. As the corn will come from the grain, all that dies will rise again. As the seeds grow from the earth, we celebrate life, death, and rebirth. One more time. As the corn will come from the grain, all that dies will rise again. As the seeds grow from the earth, we celebrate life, death, and rebirth. These knotted ribbons are yours to take home. Place them on your personal altar if you have one, or perhaps next to the photo of your loved one. That way, you can be reminded of your loved ones each time you pass by. Blessed be. Let's connect, my love. We close with the words of R.J. Schwartz. Samhain is a time to remember our dead, but not to mourn them. Rather, to embrace their spirits and let their wisdom help guide us in our time here on earth. Blessed be. Oh, beloveds, go in peace, go with love, and in the tradition of our Wiccan beloveds, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.